I call this regular meeting to order at 6:34 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Barantes. Thank you. Mei-Ling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Barantes,
Present.
Commissioner Cabot, Commissioner Huerta,
Present.
Vice Chair Dong,
Present.
Chair Share.
Present. Approval of the agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? Hearing none, the agenda order is approved. We will now have a few announcements by Community Service Manager Matthew Morales.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on Cable Channel 3 and our online platforms. If you wish to address the Community Services Commission during tonight's meeting, we request that you please complete a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk, Mei-Ling Sui. When speaking, please state your name for the record. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive Community Services Commission agendas, please email your request to cscommission@sgch.org.
This is a time to set aside for members of the public to address the Community Service Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Community Service Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. Mei-Ling, do we have any public comments for tonight's meeting?
We do not.
Thank you. Action items 3A, approval of minutes. The minutes are a record of the official actions taken at the Community Service Commission meeting on February 5th, 2024. Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Community Service Commission regular meeting of Monday, February 5th, 2024?
Also move. Second.
Thank you. Mei-Ling, can you take the vote?
Commissioner Commissioner Barantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Cabot,
Aye.
Commissioner Huerta,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dong,
Aye.
Chair Huerta, Chair Share.
I was absent.
Motion passed by a vote of 5 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions.
Thank you.
Sorry, if we could just go back. So we didn't have a clear abstention on the approval of the minutes from you, Chair Shea. So you're welcome, even though you weren't present, to still vote on it, just as long as they've been reviewed. Or if you feel more comfortable abstaining, you're welcome to do so.
I'll just do absent for now.
Abstain? Okay.
Yeah.
So then we'll just have the record show that there were four ayes, 0 nays, and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. We'll move on to discussion item 4A, introduction of the new staff, Andy Shoup. Shoup? Okay. Staff will introduce the newest recreation supervisor, Andy Shoup. Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
Should you start, or will I close the public comment first?
Yep. We can go ahead and close the public comment.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Shea. So we would like to go ahead and introduce our newest recreation supervisor, Andy Shoup. He started with the city on February 26th, so just about a week ago. He joined us from a very long stint with the city of Apple Valley, or town of Apple Valley, excuse me. And he played, I think, every role imaginable in the city. He has extensive recreation experience. We are pleased to have him joining our department. He's already made a substantial impact, is eager to just delve into everything. I'm having to hold him back a little bit to be sure he doesn't jump in too fast. So we are absolutely thrilled. Just a little additional background on him. He's seen all aspects of recreational programming, including aquatics, athletics, special events, golf services, after school, day camp programs, campgrounds, facility rentals, and field reservations. So some of those things we don't even offer here in the city of San Gabriel, but he has the experience in it. In his off time, he enjoys time with his children, backpacking, and the Boston Red Sox.
Well, good evening. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me here, Honorable Chair, Commissioners. Like you said, a whole lot of experience in recreation, and I'm excited to be down here. It's been a fantastic week in one day, and I'm excited to work with you all, and as well as continue the great work that this department does. So thank you guys for having me. I quite greatly appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any commissioners has anything, any comment?
Welcome him to the department. It sounds like you come well prepared, and we're lucky to have you. You also have a wonderful staff working with you. I hope you realize that.
Walked away too soon. No, I've noticed that thus far. I haven't been able to meet everybody just yet, but so far it's been a wonderful experience. Absolutely.
You'll enjoy it here, I'm sure. Welcome.
Thank you.
Where's Apple City? Valley?
Apple Valley. So it's on the off the 15 on the way to Vegas.
Like by Barstow?
Yep. Yeah, just about 20 minutes closer than Barstow is.
All right.
It's a good little drive.
All right. Well, welcome.
Wow,
Thank you.
that takes a lot of passion for you to come to our city. Really welcome you.
Thank
And I know that we have recently we have a lot of fresh blood in the department, and really welcome you and all the other new employees, and I'm sure we're gonna do great things moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to discussion item 4B, development of 2024 annual work plan. Commission members to review the draft 2024 work plan and make amends as needed. Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed.
Sure. So I'll just make a quick, brief notes here. So we were able to capture all of the notes from the last commission meeting. So we've added in providing new programs for residents with the age groups specified of 13 to 18 and 30 to 50, as well as Explorer program offerings for persons with disabilities, including but not limited to swim classes. And then we've noted that as for serving as a liaison for events that City Council has requested either expansion or added, that staff would provide a layout and general information to the commission for review. I did have one note on that if the commission wanted to appoint 2 members as a committee to work more closely with the staff members, kind of outside of the commission meetings, we can give you more additional details in a less formal environment that then you could bring back to the commission if you'd like to run it that way. But I'll leave it up to the commission to decide how best to do it that way. We've added in the development of a youth ambassador program, host interviews, and then appoint 2 non-voting ambassadors to the commission, similar to what the HERE Commission has. In addition, was the commissioners to staff the Community Services Department information booth at city events. It's something that the commission's already doing, but it wasn't explicitly stated on the work plan. We have added in on the very last portion here, we recommend that City Council approve the addition of a part-time case manager through a third-party provider. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or I'll turn it back to the commission for further discussion.
I see a lot of good things added to the plan. Well done. And if there's any additional notes we wanted to put into this, we're good to move on with this annual plan for 2024.
Vice Chair, I think we were going to go over our notes and make sure that that they were all included. Do you see everything?
I do. I was looking over the bullet points for section 1, and I think that's where we made most of the changes. And I see that they've added bullet point B, which is exploring program offerings for persons with disabilities, which we had talked about the last meeting, as well as clarified how we can be a liaison for events with the city council. And Matthew mentioned that we could elect 2 of us who could work hand in hand,
Closer. Mm-hmm.
more closely with the staff.
I think that's a great suggestion. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I think a committee of 2 would best serve the commission. And that way, we're just kept abreast of what's moving and making sure it's in the direction that the commission would like it to move. Now, tonight, are we going to focus on any of these work plans, or are we just agreeing to the work plan and finalizing it, or?
Correct. So anything that needs to be added or removed, the commission would do so tonight, and then I would recommend voting to either approve or send it back to staff for additional amendments. But if there's minor amendments, like just the addition of the 2 committee members to that one line item, then we can just add that as an addendum to the motion that you make to approve the work plan. It will go to City Council for approval as well, so I would recommend any discussion happening after it's approved. But you could have a further discussion once it's approved by the commission here tonight as to, for example, should it be approved by council, who exactly you would like to serve as the committee members, or if there's someone that would like to take on a particular program area and jump right off as soon as it gets approved. I would recommend that discussion happening, but everything else could wait until after it's approved.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a good time to ask this right now. Since it has been a while, I wonder what we're doing with the internship program and if there's any updates.
Yeah, so he has taken a pause for now, just because we didn't have enough for him to pump out, and I still need to provide the items to you for final review. It was positive in the fact that he was able to do it really quickly, but where we struggled was trying to find a clear way of getting the information from the student to staff. And I think what it came down to was technology, a lack of. There's a lot of students that don't know how to use Microsoft Word and that type of technology. They're very used to using the Google Drive platform, which isn't something that staff are necessarily abreast on. So I think it's going to take us, when we re-release it or bring him back, to develop a clearer plan. It was something, to be honest, I wasn't anticipating. And running into that. I was like, everyone knows how to use Microsoft Word. I was wrong. And so
Sure.
now that creates kind of a barrier as to how we could get that off to you and how we could sort through it. And the formatting was interesting to try and figure that out. But all in all, it was a great program, and I would love to bring it back once we have time to actually sit and weed through some of those. But otherwise, yes, it was fantastic to actually answer your question, and I'm looking forward to having him back if he's still interested.
Do we know when we're having him back?
I will need to just onboard a few more staff and get them familiar with their roles before I can bring him back. So I'm hoping within the next month, but it may be a touch longer than that.
Okay.
No longer than 2 months, though.
Okay, and then before him comes back, maybe it's good for me to review all the
Yes,
stuff, so
most
he has
definitely.
something to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I have a question. When you said committee of 2, did you?
No problem.
So are you saying a committee of 2 for each 1, 2, 3, and 4, or just individual ones like offering expanding the internship program, explore offerings for persons with disabilities, including 1, 2?
Sure. So just a committee of 2 for the special events discussion, and it doesn't need to be a separate committee for each event. It can just be 2 that are focused on special events. And I would even recommend 2 on very different ends of the spectrum, right? As far as train of thought when it comes to special events. And then everything else could be just one person that's working on that particular area, similar to how it operated last year.
The reason I bring this up, Mr. Shoup, is it? He might be able to talk to Commissioner Davis. He was interested in developing programs for children with disabilities and use some fresh ideas for that, I think. We talked about not just swimming, but also other activities like maybe have a game afternoon or evening for them, board games or basketball or crafts or something. So maybe
It's
you,
pretty much to have any kind of options for them because they have no options.
they don't have
So,
anything. So
pretty much.
Commissioner Barras is the person you need to connect with for that. Okay. Good. Thank you for that.
Any comments? So I think we're good to approve or not approve this work plan. Do we have any motion to approve?
Well, will you come back with another draft that will include the, or is it just,
We can,
or can we just go ahead and approve with the changes that will be made?
Correct.
Okay. Approve with changes that will be made. Okay.
and that's the only change we need right at this moment.
I think so.
So do we have a motion?
Else?
Well, we have to remember this is an outline. This is not in stone.
Sure.
So like Commissioner Huerta said, if changes need to be made, then we vote on it later on. So this is a good start, and I think it's a very good start.
Do we have a motion?
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we approve the draft work plan for 2024 with the understanding that we will finalize it with the addendum or the corrections that we made tonight.
I'll second that motion.
Aileen, please take the vote.
Commissioner Barrantes,
Aye.
Commissioner Cabot,
Aye.
Commissioner Huerta,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dong,
Aye.
Chair Share.
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 5 ayes, 0 nay, and 0 abstention.
Perfect. We'll move on to item 5, commission reports. Each commissioner may address a community service commission and public on matters of general information and concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences or meetings they have attended. Let's start with Commissioner Cabot.
Okay, I'm making this time to announce that I am retiring from my position on the commission. 3 terms, 6 years has been enough. I have enjoyed it immensely, 2 years as chair, and as Commissioner Huerta will support me on this, we had a couple difficult years, but we weathered it, and we've come through, and it's a nice group that we have now. And so I think it's time for me to step aside and let some new faces come in, new ideas. So thank you.
Thank you. The next one will be Commissioner Barrantes.
I have nothing to report, but more of a question. When's that farmer's market supposed to open?
It's supposed to open in the spring. I can get you more details from community development, but it is tentatively scheduled for the spring in the Park and Ride lot.
Are we going to have like a kind of a little event or like a grand reopening, or because you've had it before, right?
We have had it. It was over at Vincent Lugo Park, is I believe where it was housed, in the parking lot. And then
Before my time, that's why.
it was
Oh,
before my time as well, so
I
we're
always
really
wondered,
going
like,
back.
why don't we have a?
Quite a while ago.
I think just a year before I started, but still before. But yes, I will release more information. We've been getting a lot of questions, and especially because they think it's in our wheelhouse, but unfortunately this one is not. But I will certainly get that one off to you.
That is-
Since Commissioner Barrantes mentioned this before, I forget. I heard a lot of like local businesses, they heard of the farmers market idea, and then they're really interested to be part as a vendor. And they have reached out to the email that we put it on the Instagram post, but they haven't heard anything back. So I'm wondering if that's the correct email for them to reach out to, or who's a better person.
Sure. So I am not entirely sure who is intaking those out of that department, but I will say if you know of people who are not getting a response and it's been, a few days or a week or weeks, please direct them to me, and I'll reach out to the director and see if he can get a more expeditious response to them.
Perfect. And which department is this?
Community development.
So the same department that they does all the events? Like-
So community development does dumplings and beer, and then we do the remainder of the events.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Duan, Vice Chair Duan.
That's okay, thank you. First, I wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Cabot for serving 6 years with the commission throughout the pandemic, I believe. Throughout the pandemic, you were a chair. And you went from that to pickleball courts. So thank you so much for all of your very thoughtful comments and just being a very patient voice on the council, raising some interesting ideas about the swimming pool. Hopefully we'll get that done without you on the commission. Absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing you at various events around the city. Speaking of events, I did attend the Camellia Festival, I believe it's called, in Temple City, and it was great. One thing I noticed about that festival versus what we offer, and we have really wonderful events, is that their food options are actually priced at a level that's affordable to families. I don't know how they do it. I believe Kiwanis Club, which hosts the Easter egg hunt and that picnic during the spring, they also had a booth there, and they were offering things that were like $1 or $2. I'm not sure how they're doing it. Again, it might be coming from sponsorships or grants, but I would love to see more of those affordable options, because very often you go to a food truck and you think, oh, food truck prices. Not the case anymore. So if we could explore, if there is bandwidth to explore how they're able to get these vendors to come out and offer very affordable food, potentially to attract more members of the community to come out to events, I think that would be a step in the right direction.
Thank you. Commissioner Horta.
Thank you. So I came on board with Commissioner Cabot, and I am departing with Commissioner Cabot. I will not be returning as a commissioner for community services, even though it's been really great meeting everyone, working with everyone, going through these challenges, really learning more about the city. I have to say, for myself personally, I've learned so much more in this seat, and had great interaction with the community, and it's been fun really finding out what people are really interested in seeing in their own communities. So I will miss sitting in this chair, but as Commissioner Cabot said, it is time for new faces, new ideas, new directions, and the staff here I'm gonna miss, but I see you all the time anyway. But before I do turn it over, I want to speak a little to the Lunar Lantern Festival. that just happened because I did not attend, but I know it was very well attended. And I think that, unfortunately, there's an aspect of it that may have been an unpleasant experience for those attendees who were looking for parking, because they were unable to park in our facility. Mission San Gabriel is a church with a very large community, and Saturdays and Sundays are extremely busy for us. And we put signage up, but unfortunately it did not detract anybody from obeying the signs that were put up. We had to have staff, volunteers, and it was probably very frustrating for people to try and park in our lots and around our campus and be turned away. And of course, there's always the language barrier of being unable to explain that, you know, on Saturday mornings, we have baptisms, we have quinceañeras, we have weddings. Sunday morning, we have evening masses from 5 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock. And then Sunday morning, we begin at 7 a.m. and we don't end until 5 p.m. And that's just in front of the church. On the interior, we have Vietnamese Sunday school. We have a ministry that has a Sunday school. So I know we'll probably hear numbers later on, but I think that it does raise the question of future events in the Mission District on a Saturday and Sunday, because it does present itself as a burden to us, because there are so many entries. You have the interior lot, high school, we had people parking in front of the exits, so we had to be on the phone with the police a lot. But, I mean, it was just so well attended. I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? Everybody wants to come to it. The flip side of that is a bad experience. And we just didn't want that to be a reflection of Mission. It was just an understanding that we too are a very busy campus. So I just wanted to mention that before my time is up. But otherwise, I did not attend any meetings, although I will say that today, Mission San Gabriel hosted, we are owned by the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, and every year we have a number of new priests that come to join the Archdiocese, and they staff our parishes, 300 parishes within the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. So today it was really wonderful to welcome 14 priests from Nigeria, Kenya, India. We had Bolivia, Guatemala, Mexico, an island in the Pacific called Tonga. It was just a wonderful day, and they had a chance to come in, and they also had a chance to walk around the city. So it was really great for them to recognize that this is a very special place. So I just wanted to share that. And thank you. I'll look forward to the rest of my time here, but we're passing the hat on.
Thank you.
Comment. Like I said, I enjoyed working with Commissioner Huerta, and we've been through the war. And she weathered it well. I learned a lot from her, especially work plans. I had not done that before, and Commissioner Forte, and she guided us through that beautifully for a year. And for almost a year, it was just the three of us, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, we just had three of us here. And she guided us through that time, and learned a lot from her. And this during the time when she was in charge of restoration for the mission. That was a lot. I would guess she's exhausted at this point, right? Tired. Yeah, tired. So I think we've earned our retirement at this point. And we've enjoyed working here. I've enjoyed working with Commissioner Huerta, and again, it's kind of
I just want to thank you too for your service here. And then when I first came to the commission, you two were here, and then I learned a lot from you, and it's you're definitely gonna be missed, and but you're not gonna be disconnected. We're gonna go reach out.
You know where to find me.
Yes.
I did that once.
Yeah. Yeah. Made me feel really touched right now. But thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. It is. It's been a real pleasure meeting everyone and then having the new commissioners come on board and so many great ideas. You know, each year we just get better and better. And the staff, of course, the staff has been really wonderful. And we do. We're lucky.
I also wanted to say thank you to Commissioner Huerta for her service and for being such an important voice, I think, for the commission. She speaks on behalf of Mission San Gabriel, which is a very important partner for the city. It is in her city logo, for instance, and it is the site of many of our major events. So I do wonder if there is a way to liaise with them now that she's no longer on the commission. Is there a way where we could partner with them, or at least, you know, when we do have events, somehow put up signs that restrict people from accessing their parking lots? Because, you know, as a public member, when I'm driving around Mission, I don't know what belongs to the city, what belongs to the Archdiocese, and maybe having some delineation would be helpful in that regard.
I think we have some responsibility in that as well. And I've had several conversations with economic development, community development about wayfinding signs, and there's still a lot for us to do. I think we have to do our part in making sure that we really put up signage that points people in the right direction, since we are on that corner and we're right across from City Hall, and it's very easy to confuse the two properties. But we have some responsibility in that, and we're going to be sure to. After that day, first thing I did was walk into Pastor's office and say, we need signage. And also, it's important for people to be able to recognize, you know, what Mission San Gabriel is, and where the property lines are. But just so that everyone respects everyone, and really awareness. Awareness is something that we have to do a better job of.
Well, that's going to be a big task to work out parking, because they're going to want to do this again next year. It was fabulous, but I sympathize with the Mission San Gabriel. That's, you know, those are two of your biggest days, and we took over. Obviously, you'll have to lock them off in some way.
We can partner. I've
Yeah, you'll figure out a way. You've got a whole year.
got a few ideas. Yes, we have. So.
You got a whole year to do that.
But we have a partnership, and I think the fire and the restoration process really helped us. I mean, it was a tragic event, it was for us, but it strengthened the relationship with the city, because the city did have the opportunity to come and say, what is it that you need? You're recognized as the landmark in the city of San Gabriel, so how can we work together? So things can only improve from here, so we're looking forward to it.
Thank you. And speaking of which, end of last year, I went to a mission museum with some of the local business, like from the Mission District. And the gentleman at the bookstore, he was really nice, and he just gave us actually a brief tour, and then speak of the history and a lot of the local businesses they don't even know, and they were really shocked. They're like, I'm gonna get some of those images printed out and put it in their restaurant where their business from.
Sure.
Yeah, and I also see there are like some advertisements for the local business at Mission Church, because you were trying to like help out the local businesses
Sure,
in the
we-
area.
Absolutely.
It was really, really great, and then really appreciate the churches doing that.
Mhm.
And speaking of the parking issue, I'm wondering if we can have more staffs to help out on guiding the traffic And I think a lot of people, they're not familiar with our parking situation here. They don't know that they can park at the high school parking lot, or they can park at the medical center. And if we can have staff like Disney, they will guide you where you're supposed to park, and so can be more organized and to avoid some chaotic situation happening. And I don't know if youth volunteer are okay to do that. Maybe maybe it's something we can excuse me, we can talk about in the future.
Parking definitely was the number one topic in every single debrief discussion, so I appreciate you bringing it up. I didn't realize that it was that people were not listening to the signs. It's not surprising, unfortunately, but I didn't realize that it was as significant as it was, so I appreciate you bringing that forward. And yes, we typically don't have a large number of part-time staff, of our staff, that are working these events, since we are partnering with a third party who is really running the show that day. But it was extremely apparent that we needed to step up the areas of additional parking, because even the parking lots that we had set aside just were not sufficient to meet the number of people. They're estimating around well over 20,000 between the 2 days. So obviously the small lots that we provided were not sufficient to offset that number of people. And given that the mission is right on that intersection, people are just going to go right through. And we were seeing that at several of our smaller parking lots, that there would be a police officer there and a sign, and they would still try to drive through the parking lot with the police officer standing there. So I can only imagine what was happening at the mission when it was readily available and in direct line of sight. So I apologize that happened. And so we will certainly connect to see how we can navigate a lot of those.
Didn't they have another off-site parking in the shuttle bus too?
We didn't have a shuttle bus this year. We've done one shuttle bus, and that was for dumplings and beer, I think the year before COVID. But obviously that will need to be part of our discussion as to how feasible a shuttle is and where that would be most feasible to do. I've worked in other cities where it's like a 10-minute shuttle drive, which then reduces the congestion within the surrounding area as far as cars even trying to find parking. They just know to go to like the 10-15 minutes away, park, and then they can get shuttled in. So those are things that we can certainly explore. Unfortunately, even with that, the city doesn't have a lot of parking lots or parking structures for that matter. So we'll just have to be very creative and try to find those types of solutions.
It's definitely a learning process, but
Mm-hmm.
Good on my side. Let's move on to item number 6, staff comments. Staff members have the opportunity to address the commission and public on matters of general information and concern.
We don't have any comments this meeting. Thank you, though.
Thank you. Item number 7, adjournment. The next regular Community Service Commission meeting will be held on Monday, April 1st, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the Community Service Commission meeting on the city's website at www.stgabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at